Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so I'm probably not going to be able to manage videos on Fridays because they're a little bit of a crunch time for me. Just because so many of my um, I'm not sure what to call them. So many of my I don't want to call them clients. So many of my students. That feels. Oh, dang. Okay, so many of my students have to schedule uh, appointments that day. So, um, students doesn't feel right either. I don't know what to call them. Um, it's not a subordinate thing. It's just a. I don't know what you'd call them. Anyway, they're not clients. They're not students. They're not. I just have a lot of meetings going on Friday, so probably not gonna be able to make it in here. Um, so the reason why I'm like, okay, I gotta get back ASAP is Monday is gonna be interesting. I think it's safe to say that. So my interpretation personally of the transit, if you will, or the aspects is going to, so you have, I'm just gonna hold the card. Help me to kind of get this energy over to you. Is Saturn and Neptune are both conjunct right now. And on Monday, Mars is going to make a square aspect to them. And so for me, it is like this is like, think of this as the shore and then the ocean starts out here. We are holding a jar, a cup, a chalice, our container up to the ocean god, Neptune, Poseidon, whatever you want to call it, the god of the ocean, and going, okay, buddy, you got to fit all that in here. And after, them hanging out for so long now, I can't even, I can't tell you how far back it goes, but they've been hanging out for a hot minute. Okay, they've been buddy buddy. They've been chilling. You know, uh, going to movies, playing disc golf. Uh, I don't know what you tell, like, whatever. They've been hanging, okay? So Saturn and Neptune are buddies right now. And all of a sudden on Monday, Mars is going to step in and put his pew pews to each one of them and say, you going to do this yet? Because I'm demanding you do this right now. And so Saturn is going to be like, all right, bro. And Neptune's going to look back at Saturn and be like, bro, like, so it's asking almost like the impossible to happen. It's not asking, it's demanding, it's insisting. And there's a specific mind shift that has to happen here. There's a particular heart shift that has to happen here. There's a particular soul spirit shift that has to happen here. The psyche has to shift, the mind has to shift, the heart has to shift. Everything has to shift. And if you are not letting the shift, it's going to get crunchy. It's going to get hot under the collar. It's going to get pissy. It's going to get confusing. So Saturn is that solid container of like, okay, here's your parameters. Here's the rules of the interaction, the game, the rules and regulations of the whatever. Um, if you want to look at it a healthy way, he provides that safety container. He's the one that says, okay, it's dangerous over here, so just put up a wall over there. Don't go over there. And Neptune's like boundaryless. Just in its toxicness, it's so naive. He's gonna get himself whooped, right? So Neptune. Oh, damn it! What the heck is the show? There's a great British show about a bunch of jail birdies that have to do do like community service, and they're working at this building. Oh my god, I love this clip so much. It fucking just, oh my god, I love it so much. Damn, Christopher Walken is in it. Ah, that genius, hilarious, tall British guy who's he's got the glasses. He's the main one of the main characters in it. Oh my god, it kills me every time. It just makes me laugh till I'm in tears. But it's so they're cleaning up this kind of bad area of town, and I can't tell you what continent they're on. I don't give a fuck. It was hilarious. I just watched it, devoured it, and it was amazing. The So they're in the parking lot cleaning up with their freaking vests on and whatever else, and doing their, jailbird repentance or whatever the heck it is. And there's a dude that drives by, and he like does the pew pew thing out the open window. Like he looks back. He's driving the vehicle, but he looks back. So they must be on U.S. soil. Right? Yeah. And so he does the pew pew thing backwards to the group of people that are standing in the parking lot. And the guy with the glasses, who's the tall Brit. It kills me every time. So he like pretends like he's, holding a one of those things that makes a big boom. And he takes the clip out with its teeth. And he tosses it over the fence towards the car and like does the pew pew thing, like and the rest of the jailbirds behind him are like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I thought he was flirting." That's Neptune. That's Neptune and his toxicity. Sorry, I had to do that somehow. But that's the best. That's the best Neptunian like naivety I can cover. Like legit. Like Neptune can, Pisces, I love y'all. You're glorious creatures. But sometimes there's a boundary and you're like, where? You just don't see it. And it's cute to a certain extent, but it gets you into some serious trouble. Anyway, so that's Neptune in its toxicity. Now, Neptune in its full embodiment is like Oracle, divine messenger, divine everything. They often say that like Pisces has like a Jesus Mary Magdalene complex, where they're giving up too much of themselves to save humanity when that's not a requirement. It's just kind of a con system that it's one of those toxic patterns that they have to get out of and say, okay, you're going to do this whole, what do you call it? Massive overhaul of humanity to say, you know what, you have the power to do this. You don't need me. You're not going to be saved through human sacrifice. Nobody's going to be saved through human sacrifice. Nobody ever was saved through human sacrifice. I don't know how much more history we need to collect here or how many more bodies we need to count, but human sacrifice is not going to save anyone under any circumstances for any reason. And so we're going to be facing those darker aspects because Mars is going, okay, you need to do this. And like, so all the baggage, in order for that to happen, in order for the ocean to get into, all the baggage has to go. All the stuff that's keeping us restricted, confined, bound, religion to bind again, Before religion, it was called a binding spell. Now it's called a trauma bond. It's a chemical addiction in the brain. And, Pisces, Neptune, that rules addiction. It rules that toxic behavior that's numbing out rather than calming the system in order to process the information in a logical, rational manner. And this is detachment. So it's detachment from the outcome, not from your entire existence, from the how it happens, when it happens, blah 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 blah. Detachment from the binding spells, detachment from the things that are actually hurting you, detachment from material stuff, detachment from things that are going to produce a particular outcome. So I like to use this as an example. When you pray, there has to be a predator. That's it. That's a good Saturn, Neptune, reflection as to how this is happening for us to us. So this is not the stars are just being so, or planets are being so cruel. No. No, they are literally the energetic patterns that we have to reflect on. We have to start understanding that, they show up this way because we made it so, not because this isn't their inherent energy that is bad and negative. It is because we have put out into the ethos via our own energetic patterns these particular how would she put that? Belief structures. So when you believe something, you are leaving it. I'm going to believe this into the ethos. I'm going to be leaving it out to the ethos. I know. Lady, how the fuck did you get there? That's what we do. We think with our brain that does not put out very good at signal, with a really horrible language, especially when it comes to English, that it's getting there. And the universe is responding going, what? Are you sure? Because you keep putting out this prey energy, so you're demanding more predators? You need more predators, because there's prey, so there's got to be predators to match. It's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting time. So companion plant that was put here for us might be, maybe microdose this, use some salve on some tense muscles where you're feeling it, do whatever you gotta do with it. I'm not here advocating, I'm here telling you the energy is already here. It's just not being seen or utilized in any beneficial matter because we have so much energetic obstruction to it, and that's what this energy is trying to get out of the way. When you obstruct yourself from the truth of the situation, you are going to feel the need to completely numb out and not at all register anything, or you're going to try to get yourself into a state of safety and clarity so you can move your life force energy forward in some way that's going to actually have your best interest at heart, therefore everybody else around you. When you can hold the highest good of all in your consciousness, you begin to hold yourself in the highest good of all, thus everybody else you meet gets held in the highest good of all, yada yada, and that just trickles. So, and that's a really difficult cup to sit in, because you then have to make decisions and choices based on the highest good of all. And we often are not told what that is. And it is not the big G-O-D. It is not anything to do with that narrative. As many little kernels of truth that have been squeezed into the dark triad, which is the Abrahamics, if you read and not just take in through here, but sift through your heart space. When someone tells you that you are evil for being born, that you were conceived with evil, and simply by breathing you became some sort of evil that has to be whatevered off the planet, and the only thing that's going to save you is human sacrifice. That's not going to fit in here. Not going to fit. It's real. I did not plan on doing this whole complete message today, but here we are. So, and I will read the description, whatever it is, here in a moment. So, we as a society have to comprehend that we are co-creators. And until we comprehend that, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. So when you have a lot of the planet creating and co-creating through a dark triad entity, that the vast majority of the people F off the planet, and then the rest that are left are to destroy it. I wish I was making this up. I wish I did. It's it's enough to have to know this and be in your own skin. Okay? So this is coming into play. There's certain things that we can't put in that jar, our chalice. There's certain things that never should have been there in the first place. They're the very thing that's projecting itself onto humanity right now needs to be, that box of darkness needs to stop being opened, and we just need to hand the box of darkness back and say, you look at it. You did this. You started this. Your grandfather, your great 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 grandfather started this, and you've been conned into carrying it forward like it means anything other than some weird, stupid, ignorant, horrible karmic pattern that you now have to deal with. It's illogical. It's heartless. And it's just throwing everything in the trash because a few people on the planet are like, yeah, we'll live in caves after we nuke the whole fucking joint. What? Anyway, and now they're all freaking out about what's happening to the planet naturally after disturbing all those mass graves, because they themselves don't understand what death actually means to the planet. Oh! So it's gonna not be like, crunchy doesn't really cover it. It's like you left it in the oven way too long, and now it's starting to smoke up the place. That's what it feels like. This isn't crunchy anymore. This is like, that's completely unedible and can't come with us. It's kind of like, yeah. So, let us read. Detachment, deep contemplation, freedom from pain body, inner calm, and immunity. Reverse would be numb, disassociation, neglect, chronic pain, not seeing a way out, trapped and unsettled. Binding spell, religion, trauma bond, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Rulers are Saturn and Neptune. Okay. Cannabis is one of the oldest known psychotropic herbs. The first recorded use of cannabis is from 8,000 BC in an ancient village in Taiwan, where indigenous groups used hemp fibers in their fabrics, pottery, rope, and even their shoes, not relying on animal skins or even silk for clothing. In 4000 BC, the Chinese village of Panpo, hemp was considered to be one of the 5 grains of China and thus a major food crop. In the Chinese Materia Medica from 2737 BC, hemp was... Sorry, I gotta turn the page with one hand. Okay, hemp was recognized for its ability to treat over 100 medical issues, including gout, malaria, and rheumatism. The medical use of marijuana features heavily in Hindu religious texts. In the Vedas, for example, written between 2000 BC and 1400 BC, cannabis was considered a sacrament of Shiva, described as a source of happiness, a joy giver, a bringer of freedom, that was compassionately given to humans by the gods to relieve them of anxiety and help them achieve delight as well as fearlessness. Cannabis, by many uses, fall mostly under Saturn and Neptune's rulership, with a strong Piscean undertone. Since it is musculoskeletal relaxant and anti-inflammatory and a pain reliever, it is a great ally for those seeking to soften the rough edges of Saturn's impact. Its mood-enhancing, anti-anxiety, anti-inflammatory, and psychotropic properties belong to the realms of Neptune and therefore Pisces. Saturn is said to be the lord of time and space and the lord of karma. Although often called the Great Malefic, Saturn is much more than what we experience in third-dimensional reality. The space-time continuum is a system that encompasses third-dimensional reality as we know it, and said to be ruled by Saturn. Yet the transcendence of this reality is freedom from Saturn, depicted by its polarity, Neptune. When the angels of time and space are respected, Saturn, they bless us with freedom and the ability to transcend, Neptune. The cycles of the pain body, if you feel restless, anxious, trapped in your own body, or have trouble sleeping, cannabis is here to remind you to cultivate inner calm. Breathe deeply, go for a walk in nature, immerse yourself in meditation, take naps, and creatively cultivate practices that soften the unsettled aspects of your being. Don't succumb to quick fix solutions when it comes to decompressing, as it often leads to self-neglect and disassociation. Tune deeply into the energetics of this ancient ally and learn to transcend the cycles of self-induced pain. Okay? So it's a medicine, not a numbing agent. It's a medicine. It's a medicine for you to overcome those overwhelming feelings, overcome that just tense anxiety that you can't release because so much is happening all at once. Okay, these are signals from the body that something is very wrong, and it's not you. You're just having to go through it. It's I have lost my center. I need to get back to my center so that way when I do choose to move forward and take action in the world, I am not doing it from a place of unconsciousness. Okay, that's what Pisces is aiming at. That's the highest form of Pisces, Piscean Neptune energy is, and Pisceans also are ruled by Jupiter. So you have Jupiter and Neptune, the great expander and the freaking god of the ocean, coming together, going, yeah. So the the aspect that you have to harness when it comes to this Piscean energy is that, yes, I see where I might have been coerced, manipulated, taken advantage of, And I see where those little holes in my system still exist. You know, holy. Look at how they spell that. It's in the logos. Everything's in the logos. Take everything down. Take all the logos down. Strip it and just look at how that rubber meets the road. Okay? Are there any children that are really held sacred in the Dark Triad? No. And everybody's like, oh, the Islamic people were nice. And it's like, they need to get you hooked. Okay, Jim Jones was really sweet to homeless people. Gave them entire freaking degrees in law and doctors, law and medicine. But then they had to become members of the cult. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not a, oh, we don't care that you're not Islam, but we are going to make you solely dependent on us. And then eventually you know what I mean? So it's proven itself to be a very unhealthy system. Okay, so that's where Pisces needs to kind of let go of its naivety of, oh, they're doing good for the community. That must mean the whole thing is good. Okay? You know, just like Jim Jones started off taking the homeless people and feeding them, giving them all this stuff, and then putting them through all sorts of schooling so he could then say, well, you owe me. You owe me a lot of money. So you're just going to come work for me. Okay? So, yeah, stepping in it. So, comprehending that when Abrahamic rubber meets the road, a lot of people are harmed and really abused and negated and shuffled to the side and whatever else. And that goes through a lot of communities. It's not just the Abrahamics. You know, the Love and Light only community, do you see them running food drives? Do you see them going, okay, we've got to help these homeless people. We've got to get them someplace where they can live for the winter. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. And this whole high vibe Love and Light movement's happening. So it's not anything else than what's being it's just two death cults, science and religion. Yes, science is a death cult. That's why they can't keep their tongues off of each other, is because they have the same subconscious undercurrent of trying to get the body count while looking really sexy while doing it. Those two are in the meat grinder. You've got the high vibe community pulling in the scientific stuff and then globbing it on with some sort of weird narrative of high vibe, and which insinuate, so like just like when you have prey, you have predator, you have high vibe, and then obviously it would make sense there's low vibe, right? Only they're not taking into account the people who are running the show. They're still adhering to this patriarchal structure. Not going to fit in the container, boys and girls. It's not coming with. So step off of the higher, lower human. Okay, that's creating more division. It's like every single movement has a giant fucking raw scalpel that they just got out of the freaking grinder lab. And it's like, we're going to splice humanity right down the center. 2 Earths. Ugh. And it's like, I don't think you understand or comprehend what it is that you're perpetuating out into the ethos. I don't think you are computing what happens when you tell the ethos separate, separate, separate. A lot of death on the planet happens. Like, this history thing doesn't need to repeat itself. We just need to catch ourselves in the glitch in the system before it happens, and we're not doing that. This Monday is going to point out exactly where we have failed in doing that. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not an avid user. I don't really partake at all in that sort of thing. But And, and for those of you who do have different practices and modalities of moving yourself into a state of calm and keeping yourselves there, use that instead. But for the rest of the people who don't have access to that, haven't been taught that, haven't, I'm trying to go watch my video from yesterday. Not yesterday, the day before, about getting safe in the body. Something about parasites and getting safe in the body. So again, don't think that you don't have access to that, but use what is available and works. I am so sick of this shaming this, and know what works for you and go use it. Just don't abuse yourself with it. It is that easy. It is that simple. It is that, like, we don't need to be horrible to each other, judging each other, shaming each other. We're trying to take care of ourselves. It's ridiculous, okay? I would stay away from alcohol just because it does tend to stimulate a little bit more anger. Even when you use it with cannabis. I mean, I've seen it especially in males where they still get pretty aggressive even if they are on weed. Alcohol can sometimes, especially with this transit with Mars. So just make it a nice, relaxing evening. Get some munchies. Get some yum yum. Like, get the full fucking... Put those chips on that fucking tinfoil on a cookie sheet. Hi, baby. Oh, it's little Ren. And put those chips with some cheese and some freaking beans and whatever else can go in the oven. And then just get the guac out. Mash up that freaking avocado and do what you can. Get some sliced onions. I love sliced onions. So, like, get the yum yums out for yourself and really just sit and say, okay, what needs to be released here? What can't fit in this container any longer? Because it can happen. The ocean can fit in that container. It's just we are insisting that too many difficult entities enter this situation, and it does not compute. So what do we want to come into our container? We are the vessel. We are asking the ocean, the great life force bringer guy, to come into our cup, our system. What can't come with? What's not going to fit anymore? What is going to cause us harm? So we need to say, oh yeah, that does need to stay out. Otherwise, nothing's going to fill my cup. Heavy question, I know. Hand over heart. What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Keep your flame.